Oh man, it's a little warm here in Hawaii today. I was very jealous that you just came back, so I thought I'd hop on over to Maui. So I'm in Maui right now.
Yeah,
Look, I've got are these narwhals?
they are some kind of a whale, it looks like.
Yeah, pretty cool. I like it. So,
Okay, what are we talking about?
so, you and I have talked recently about this idea, and so I'd like to ask you a question. How did you come about going from a guy that loved gear, like a lot of us do, and had all the tools and all the stuff. But, since I've known you, I think the whole time I've known you, which is way too long, but
Feels
that
like
knows,
forever.
yeah, that notwithstanding, you've really gone out of your way to simplify your process. So I think it'd be instructive for our viewers to hear the why. Why did you decide that you wanted to simplify? And is it just your process? Is it the processing? Is it the whole thing, or is it your whole life? I mean, what's this idea of simplifying, and what have you seen that are some of the benefits of doing that?
Well, when I was trying to find my vision and I was looking for resources, searching the internet, how to find your vision, and only coming up with articles about eyesight. Nobody
Yeah.
really was discussing vision or how to find it. So I came up with those 10 steps I just instinctively felt would help me point me in the right direction. And one of them, I recognized that I was a big gearhead. I was
Mhm.
into the processes, I was into the equipment. I told this story the other day to someone that I remember having lost a lens cap, and you can buy lens caps, 82 millimeter for your camera, but it was one of those generic ones. And it just bothered me. And I went through this big search. It was before really you couldn't hop on Amazon or B&H
Yeah.
on to find a lens cap that said Canon on it because
Oh, it couldn't be Tamron.
oh, couldn't be blank or anything else. I was just into the whole gear and appearances and gadgets. So I recognized that. And I recognize that what you spend your time on is what really is your focus. And I wanted to focus now on the creative, the vision, whatever that meant. So I said, well, if my pendulum is way over here on gear,
Yeah.
I'm going to force it way over here. And so I went through and got rid of all the gadgets and extras. I only kept what was essential and it would fit in one bag. And to this day, everything I own photographically is in that one bag.
Huh.
And I did that same thing with processing. I did it with everything. And the spillover was it started affecting my images. I started making my images more and more simple. And I would use long exposures to remove detail in sky and water. I would use uh, heavy burning in my images to create large expanses of black.
Hmm.
So just what I wanted the eye to focus on was really the main subject. And so it started off purposely, and now it's become kind of a religion of mine. And I'll never add a new toy or gadget unless generally it will improve the image, not just to make it easier or something.
Or maybe help you accomplish something in your vision, potentially.
Yeah, I have the vision, and if I can't execute it, like the image of the melting giants, where the iceberg was a still shot and I needed
Right.
it to be a long exposure, there I sought out help from a friend who gave me a technique to turn it into the long exposure the way I envisioned it.
Yeah.
So I only add a new tool to my toolbox when it will help me create the image that I'm envisioning.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So, yeah, I think it's worth, and this doesn't need to be a long episode, but I thought it would be of value, and I think it is of value to consider simplifying because, as we've talked about on the show before, it's our observation. And I love what you said early on. What we focus on, how did you say it? What we focus on is what we
What's important to
is
us.
what's important to us. That was what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're constantly reading the reviews about gear, then gear is important to us. And, we're going to shout it from the rooftops a million times if we have to on this show. Wrong jungle. I mean, Stephen Covey in his 7 Habits book talked about, you're climbing a ladder and you get up there and you go, oh, shoot, I'm in the wrong jungle, because you're following all the crowd and all that stuff rather than following your inner voice, your inner vision, and getting to that top ladder and going, yeah, this is exactly where I want to be, making images that are expressive rather than technically perfect or whatever, because you got the right lens. Yeah,
Well,
right.
I mean, I was terrible at it, and I know that, and it also came from an insecurity, thinking I wasn't creative and I didn't have anything to offer creatively. So I thought, well, at least I can be technically perfect, and that can compensate
Yeah,
for my lack of creativity. It
yeah,
sounds so silly to say that now, but that's really what I believed. And I think that when I see other photographers who admit they're not creative, I have to believe they're also compensating by trying to be technically perfect.
yeah. Hey, just to finish up here, I'm a Lens Baby ambassador. Can I interest you in buying a couple of Lens Babies?
Doesn't fit my vision, but
Oh
there's
man,
a
I
lot
thought
of
I could make
people.
a couple of commission bucks on that.
I have
Uh,
met people on our tours who have a vision through Lens Babies, and man, do they make them sing.
Absolutely. And that's,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're not downplaying any tool or whatever. It's just suggesting to simplify and use the tools that you need to meet your vision.
Yeah.
So, all righty. Until next time, bud, I'm probably going to leave Hawaii here in a few minutes. I'll head back home. So I'll probably see you from Pennsylvania on our next one.
Go back to that pig farm you were at last week.
Yeah.